Yesterday, a reporter asked Trump about the issue of imposing restrictions or conducting scrutiny on international students at Harvard, and also brought up Secretary of State Rubio's comments about a comprehensive ban on Chinese students and the cancellation of all their visas. When asked for his view on the matter, Trump surprisingly responded that he wasn't particularly aware of it. He added that he welcomes international students and sees no particular issue with Chinese students. This sharply contrasts with the official State Department announcement made by Rubio just a few days earlier. In that statement, Rubio said that, under the president's directive and leadership, the State Department had decided to cancel all Chinese student visas and conduct a comprehensive review of all international students in the United States. The discrepancy between the president's statement and Rubio's official memo highlights a fundamental issue in the Trump administration. Once again, Trump appears to be backtracking and having second thoughts about his own policy, another sign that this policy might soon be reversed. This situation again exposes a critical weakness in Trump's leadership. He lacks firm political convictions or a clear ideological foundation. As a result, his policies are often based on the ideas of his subordinates rather than any coherent national strategy or personal vision. In truth, the only consistent goal Trump seems to have is America first, that the U.S. should never be taken advantage of and should instead always come out on top. Concepts like anti-communism, socialism, capitalism, or class struggle are irrelevant to him. They simply don't matter in his worldview. Because of this, the national policies he formulates often lack clarity, and his execution of those policies is not resolute. When his staff proposes a hardline policy, he frequently doesn't grasp its implications. For instance, Rubio's warning about the threat posed by international students didn't resonate with Trump. In fact, he may even view international students as a valuable source of high-quality immigration, which is why he doesn't feel strongly opposed to them. That explains why, when asked about the issue again the next day, Trump seemed to forget what Rubio had told him and instead expressed his genuine opinion that he welcomes international students and has no intention of canceling Chinese student visas. He even said he particularly likes Chinese students. This inconsistency is worrying, both for Trump and for Rubio. Overall, while Trump's team is full of enthusiastic individuals, there are not many who are truly capable. Among the few competent ones are Attorney General Pam Bondi, Secretary of State Rubio, and Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. As for the others, they tend to be flashy but insubstantial. Particularly notable are Treasury Secretary Bessent and Commerce Secretary Lutnick. Both are full of big talk but lack strategic planning, strong political ideals, or governance capabilities. They're even more clueless than Trump, making decisions on a whim and abandoning them just as quickly. Their advice on tariffs has led Trump astray numerous times, and when the pressure rises, they retreat, causing Trump to repeatedly change his mind and backtrack. That's why today, when Trump or his team announce new tariffs or threaten more trade actions, no one takes it seriously. For example, yesterday Trump, Lutnick, and Bessent once again declared plans to increase tariffs on imported steel and aluminum from 25% to 50%. Yet the world barely reacted. No country made a statement, as most are now used to these empty threats. Everyone's just waiting for the next inevitable reversal. It's widely expected that these new tariffs will never actually be implemented. So far, after months of drama, Trump and his team have proposed countless tariffs: universal tariffs, Liberation Day tariffs, fentanyl tariffs, and more. But all of them have been repeatedly delayed, extended by 30 days, 90 days, or even longer. Not a single one has truly been enforced. To many, it all feels like a joke, utterly absurd. That's why no one listens, no one believes, and no one cares anymore. This is exactly why we say Trump's personality has deeply affected his entire administration. If he continues governing like this, he will achieve nothing. Without a clear political ideology or determined goals, his policies are impulsive, retaliatory, rebellious, or even spiteful, marked by a crude, small-minded, and opportunistic character. Such policies are impossible to implement comprehensively, and when faced with pressure, another troubling side of Trump's personality emerges: his inability to withstand it. On the surface, Trump appears strong and confident, but in reality, he is deeply insecure and lacks self-confidence. This makes him highly susceptible to influence, especially from his advisors and subordinates. For instance, when Peter Navarro, a hardliner on tariffs, urges Trump to raise them aggressively, Trump agrees. But as soon as Bessent sneaks into the Oval Office in Navarro's absence and warns him of the potential downsides, Trump quickly retreats. Before Navarro even returns, Trump is already signing an executive order to delay the tariffs. This kind of weak character and lack of self-assurance stems partly from personality, but also from the fact that neither Trump nor the MAGA movement has a clear political doctrine. What does "Make America Great Again" actually mean? Does it involve isolating the U.S. from the world, or cutting all ties with communism? These questions must be clarified. If one wants to uphold American values and Christian ideals, then they must confront anti-Christian forces. If one supports a capitalist free market economy, then they must decisively break away from socialism and state-run economies. Only with a clear ideology can one pursue policies with consistency and resolve. Whether you're a president, a corporate manager, or an ordinary person, once you make a decision, big or small, you must follow through. You cannot change your position with every new opinion you hear. A person without trust cannot stand. This ancient Chinese proverb holds timeless wisdom. Even a mediocre emperor in ancient China understood this. Some 2,500 years ago, a Chinese reformer named Shang Yang wanted to establish his credibility before launching his reforms. So he placed a wooden pole at the south gate of the city and promised, "Whoever carries this pole to the north gate will receive 20 taels of gold." Everyone thought it was a joke. No one believed him. But one beggar thought, "Why not try? There's nothing to lose." He carried the pole and indeed received the gold. From then on, people believed Shang Yang and fully supported his reforms. Even 2.5 millennia ago, Chinese rulers understood that to successfully govern, one's decrees must be followed through. You must gain the people's trust. Once a decision is made, it cannot be changed lightly. Only then can your vision for reform and governance be realized, and only then can you succeed.